From Monday to Tuesday, you don't have any fun. From Wednesday to Thursday, just gonna have a run. Friday and Saturday, you're always getting drunk. And Sunday, you stay at home and never go to church.
Welcome back, My Night Outers. This is DJ Psycho Eddie. You are listening to My Night Out Radio on Rhode Island Free Radio. You just listened to Pistol Shot Gypsy, which, by the way, they're opening up for Ace Frehley in just a couple of weeks. The name of that song, Just My Luck. Speaking of Just My Luck, I was lucky enough to grab Mike and Marianne from Tasting New England. I got that correct first time. Great. I got to say, it is an honor to have a fellow foodie, a fellow eater of fine foods in studio with me. Normally we have George Nasser, who's been missing lately. And George, we have been missing you. Please come back to us. We miss you.
Missing in action.
But before we get going on the food, I got to tell I hit a couple of really good shows this weekend. The one that I really want to mention was actually at a pizza place, Indigo Pizza in Coventry. They have live music, acoustic bands, and I was able to catch Ellie and the Bear and Vulgarity. Really? Vulgarity pulled out covers from the 80s and 90s, and they did an acoustic set of all 80s and 90s songs. If you haven't seen Vulgarity doing a normal set and you saw this, they were amazing. If you catch them doing a full set with all the instrumentation, they'll blow your mind. But that's just something, people out there, if you are in the area and you're able to catch a Vulgarity show, please go see them. With that being said, Mike, Marianne, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Thank you. You just got to get a little closer to that microphone, because otherwise the wonderful people out there listening who are giving me my ratings will not be able to hear you. So tell me a little bit about yourselves, a little bit of your background before we get into your website and what's going on. Both of you are native Rhode Islanders.
Yep.
From Bristol.
Bristol, correct.
Okay.
Yep. Born and raised in Bristol.
And you raised, you're 18, 19 years old, then what happened?
I left for the Army, so I went away. Although Marianne stayed local, she went to Rick. So I left the house. Actually, I was 19. So I joined the Army. I was 17. I went to basic training, and then I was in the reserves out of Brockton, Mass, for a about a year and a half, and then I went active duty, and I left for Korea. I spent a year in Korea.
Okay.
So Marianne was my childhood high school crush, although nothing ever materialized there. But after a year in Korea, I grew a pair, I guess, and I came back and got some courage, and we started talking again.
Very nice. So childhood romance, or high school romance at least?
No, wanted to be, but we actually met working in a restaurant, oddly enough. So we met working at Tweets in Bristol.
Tweet Balzanos.
Which is now closed, unfortunately, but
Well.
an old institution anyway.
That is the way things happen to go in Rhode Island. If it's halfway decent, eventually it's going to close. It either has to really suck, or it has to be upper crust, and then it'll last forever.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. So, you guys get back together and
Came back. Eventually, one of her breaks in college, she moved down to, I was in Kentucky at the time, Fort Campbell, and she moved down for the summer, and I asked her to marry me when we lived together down there. And,
okay, that's going to bring me to my first major question. What was in Kentucky, aside from the I think about 5'10", 5'11" of sexy sitting next to me? What possessed you to go down to Kentucky?
Well, he left out the best part, that we lived in a trailer.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Kentucky, with no air conditioning.
the Kentucky experience through and through.
It was perfect.
Okay, so you moved down strictly for him,
Just
or
for the
there
summer.
was all
Yeah,
right.
No,
all right.
yeah, just
I'm
try
not saying
things
that's a
out.
bad thing. That's a good thing. You moved down just for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was after I got back from Egypt, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So
So I'd gone to Egypt for 6 months, and then I came back, and we corresponded the whole time I was overseas. And
Okay.
then,
So you've been traveling. You actually have done a fair amount of traveling,
yeah. Yeah.
and this whole time in the conversation we had before this, you were saying that the whole time you wanted home food.
Yeah, died for it. Like, craved it, I should say. It was, just trying to recreate things at home, trying to bring, and come home on leave and bring back ingredients and tried to to recreate things. D'Angelo's steak and cheese was, at that time, was like my big craving while I was away. I don't know why. But
Well, when you're in Egypt, a camel steak and cheese
Yeah.
won't really cut it.
and we tried every way to recreate that stuff. It's just hard to get the fresh food and the seafood and whatnot. Yeah, crab legs in the desert is just not a good thing.
It's doable, but I wouldn't trust them. especially when we're in the back of a pickup truck.
Right.
So you guys get back together, you're married, and from the time you got married to now, how did you come about starting Tasting New England? Or was this just a brainchild that happened after you started going around?
Yeah, well, we just started not so long ago, a couple months ago, and it was kind of a brain fart, if you will. It was I was trying to come up with an idea, something we could work on together. I've been doing website stuff for 10 years or so, and just trying to find a project that we can work on together, something we both enjoyed. And again, going back to the love of New England food and the food culture around here, I thought, let's do a site centered on that. And so we just started brainstorming ideas, what we could do, and how we could, make it a reality. And here we are.
Well, I have to commend you because we stayed a little more local on My Night Out Radio. We have the website My Night Out RI, which I don't want to say competition. We're similar sites. We'll call it that way, where we do the food blogs. We review food restaurants, but we also go into the hospitalities, the live venues, where you stay pretty much food centric.
Right. Yeah, we kind of wanted to go with a couple of different segments of the site. One is we like to cook ourselves, so recipes was a big deal. And finding recipes online, you can find them, but they're a lot of times like the Food Network, or they're these very packaged. They're not like grandma's recipe, that's been passed down for generations. And some people like to guard that stuff, but other people like to share it as well. So we're hoping that with the site, people will be able to come there and post their recipes and share them, and we'll go from there. So that was a big focus of the site initially.
So now, if I wanted to share a recipe on your site, do I have to register with your site, start a whole profile?
So you register on the site, and that we just mainly do that, kind of control spam and whatnot. But you register with the site. You can post your recipes. Obviously, you can rate other people's recipes and comment if you've used it. Same thing with the directory. So if you've got a favorite restaurant you'd like to go to, you can add that to our directory.
And do you take blogs from other people?
We will be eventually, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And now for the big question, because I know my wallet is pretty much empty right now. How much does it cost to join your site?
Free.
It's free. Okay.
It's free for members to post. Eventually, we're going to have for businesses to claim their listing and promote their listing as the site grows. There will be a fee there, but that's for businesses only. People will be completely free.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break here because someone I stumbled across, actually a very good friend of mine introduced me to him. He was recently inducted into the Rhode Island Music Hall of Fame with the moniker Georgie Porgy and the Crybabies. He has since reinvented himself 45, 50 years later. He is still putting out music. He still is the most riveting person that I've ever talked to as an octogenarian, I think the best way I could put it. This is Elvis Sinatra. The name of the song is Charlene. You're listening to My Night Out Radio on Rhode Island Free Radio. We'll be back in a minute.
Charlene was reading her magazine 'cause she couldn't sleep. She came across a help wanted, she got it out to keep. It said wanted dancers, big cash advances, shy and homely girls need not apply. Charlene went down to the bar, she said I want to apply. She did the tryout wearing not much more than a smile. The boss said, baby, you're gonna drive him crazy. I want you to start tonight. He liked her style. Charlene, Charlene, she's the prettiest thing you've ever seen. Charlene, Charlene, all of this time where have you been? Charlene, she'll take your heart away. Charlene got up on the stage, where she appeared